tranquility. Nestled along the east coast of Sabah, Malaysia, a blue ocean paradise. This water world, home to the Bajau, a sea-dwelling people who have lived off these coastal waters for hundreds of years.
Nomor 1, nomor 2, nomor 3, seterusnya.
Once every year, the Bajau celebrate their heritage in a traditional water festival.
Di antara kelebihan Tuan Haji Biskai memang asli lepa. Lampu memang kita lah.
That pays honor to a handcrafted vessel they used to spend their entire lives on, and keeps afloat a legacy of a unique people. Perched on a remote bay on the island of Borneo is the port town of Semporna. Home to the Bajau people, Semporna's lifeblood is the fishing industry. Every day, tons of fish are brought to port and shipped out to the region's markets. But once a year, in the month of April, when the monsoon winds have died down, Bajau of Semporna get ready to party. The town's soccer stadium becomes a hub of activity. Stages are erected, and hundreds of locals prepare for a festival that celebrates Bajau song, dance, and culture. There is no festival like it anywhere in the world. It honors the Bajau's sea gypsy ancestors and a boat called the lepa, on which they once spent their entire lives. The highlight is a regatta, featuring a parade of boats, decorated to commemorate those glory days when the sea was their kingdom and the Bajau were maritime envoys to sultans. Haji Mamun is the defending champion of the regatta.
Ini sudah 1 kali, tahun yang lepas sudah kita pakai. Jadi terpaksa kita buat peningkatan ke tahun ini. Kekuningan ini memang dia asli dan lagi dia warna terpilih raja. Dan ini merah memang keberanian lah. Hitam ini dia bahagian kami lah. Inilah galaran lepa kami. Memang 1 minggu sebelum 2-3 hari memang bekerja sibuk. Apa yang kami boleh pikir dan lain daripada tahun-tahun yang lepas. Saya pun lebih karena saya mempertahankan kedudukan saya Raja Lepa tahun yang lepas. Ini belum kita pasang dia punya tambahan kecantikan lah. Kalau cakap aksesori dia punya aksesori. Ini lagi, ini kalau bahagian yang kereta, inilah dia punya string. Kalau kita pusing ke sana, tarik ke sana, dia membelok ke kanan. Kalau ke sana, ke kiri. Ini dia punya tambahan lepa, kecantikan lepa.
The decorative lepa is handcrafted and takes 3 months to build. Few craftsmen remain. Factory-made boats have virtually killed off the art of lepa building. Today, lepas are only commissioned for the annual lepa regatta. The lepa is distinguished by its carved bowsprit and gunwales with swirling motifs of stormy seas. The roofed midsection once accommodated whole families. Adorned with striking flags and sails, the lepas were single-masted, nimble enough to be used as fishing boats in the shallow coral seas. To the Bajau, the lepa is the ultimate symbol of their seafaring past, a legacy of a community that once lived entirely on the seas. Just off Semporna are the protected waters of the Tun Sakaran Marine Park, an area that encompasses 350 square kilometers and 8 islands. It is home to another unique community. While most Bajau have long settled on the mainland, this community still lives the traditional gypsy lifestyle. These are the nomadic sea Bajau or Bajau Laut. Unlike the decorative lepas of the settled Bajau, These floating caravans are where babies are born and families raised. The Sabah Bajau seldom stop in one place for very long. Their movements dictated by monsoon winds, fishing seasons, and the ebb and flow of tides. The Sabah Bajau have a special bond with the sea. Their daily life revolves around fishing and foraging the seabed. One of the traditional fishing methods is free diving. Using a breathing technique learnt in childhood, Sabah Bajau can dive down to 20 meters and hold their breath for up to 3 minutes. Walking the seafloor, free divers scavenge for food. In this case, the highly prized mantis shrimp. Helen Brunt works with the Sabah Bajau communities living in the Tun Sakaran Marine Park.
I've watched Joblin freediving before, and he seems so incredibly relaxed, and he can just stroll along with bare feet along the bottom of the sea, looking for the particular things he's after.
Joblin has amazing skill, but even he sometimes struggles. Having worked with the local marine park for years, Helen appreciates his predicament.
If it's just individuals fishing, it should be sustainable, but it's the other commercial fisheries that are causing the fish stocks to deplete to such an extent that it's very hard for these individual fishermen to make a living, and they have to put a lot of effort in to catch a decent amount of fish. It's not how it used to be.
Bang sa magtalom po ka sa duhat sekali mampu. Nabang tinadon ako pati itu law-law. Nakaginisan na ako hita nakamundaing sa kapatilo kamu niya. Lalu kaitan niyo saruan niya kinatawan niya kaitan kinatawan.
Joblin may dive up to 20 times a day in search of prey, often coming up with nothing.
Kalau ada dapat, ada makanan. Kalau tidak ada makanan.
We've been monitoring certain reef sites in the Tun Sakaran Marine Park for the last 10 years. There's a lot of damaged reefs in the park. There's been fish bombing, fishing with explosives going on for the last 20-25 years. So the effects of that are still very evident.
The marine park is a protected area, and restoring the reefs is a top priority. New coral growth will encourage the spawning of marine life, benefiting the Sabah Bajau whose livelihoods depend on the sea. Back in the town of Semporna, it's a hive of activity. The settled Bajau come together to prepare for the annual Lepa regatta and for the pride and prestige of being crowned this year's Lepa King. Haji Mamun, the defending champion, has divided his entire family into small teams, each working on different parts of the Lepa. There's still work to be done, but soon the waterfront of Semporna will be lined with hundreds of these colorful vessels. Semporna, the quiet Malaysian coastal town, is today abuzz with excitement. A handful of traditional Bajau boats have already gathered. They'll be jostling for the prize of Best Decorated Boat. Also at stake in the Lepa Regatta, the title of Lepa Queen. The ladies are judged on their dance and traditional costumes. They're expected to dance gracefully on the bow of a moving lepa. 26-year-old Nasatia has taken a week off from work and arrives home to start her preparations. She's no stranger to the Lepa Queen competition.
Ini gambar saya. Gambar ini diambil pada tahun 2006. Masa tu saya syukur alhamdulillah saya dapat nombor 1 yang tak dapat disangka-sangka lah, memang rezeki kata orang, rezeki melimpah. Perasaan tu tak dapat dicakap lah. Jadi menari kena step betul, imbang badan betul. Jangan terlalu gugup, jangan gemuruh. Sebab mungkin kalau gemuruh markah pun jatuh. Gerakan juga kasih banyak, bergantung dengan muzik tu je lah. Kalau rentak dia cepat, saya kena ikut dengan rentaknya cepat, tapi dengan itu imbang sekali. Jangan ikut sedap hati begini, pop, campur tanggung. Rentak muzik pun kira, sebab rentak muzik pun memainkan peranan yang penting di dalam sebuah lepa. Jika ada slot yang salah, pengadil itu akan dengar dan potong markah lah.
Nasatia's grandmother was the first ever winner of the Lepa Queen competition, and her father came first in the men's dance category. Their experience, she hopes, will give her the edge. Nasatia is part of a younger generation of Bajau who've moved out of the fishing village to find work.
Sempurna hebat, sini cuma kami cari duit lah, kata orang. Kadang-kadang saya tunggu bagasi, dia kata 3 bagasi, kadang-kadang saya buat packing. Ikan di sana tak bagus, ikan sempurna hebat, fresh.
Even though Nasatia works at an airport, her heart lies back in Sempurna. She's typical of many young Bajau who've been driven to work and live in the bigger towns and cities. Back at the Tun Sakaran Marine Park, Helen Brunt is visiting a traditional Sea Bajau family. The Sea Bajau are finding it increasingly difficult to maintain their nomadic lifestyle as the modern world encroaches.
Bajau Laut are one of the most friendliest people I've ever met. They're very natural, very warm, very welcoming, and I just really enjoy spending time with them.
Halaman ni haba.
Mari kita duduk magsuli-suli. Siapa bikin ini?
Ini. Macam itu.
The traditional Bajau mats are made of pandanus leaves. Helen has been working on an initiative to help the Sea Bajau sell their handicraft.
Ini dari Semenanjung. Ya. So ada 4 warna. Sampai siap berapa bulan lagi?
Tidak tahu lah, 3 bulan, 2 bulan.
Hari-hari ada bikin.
Iya.
It's the big question whether move people towards a certain state of modernity and urbanization. And unfortunately for a community like this living on the sea and solely reliant on the marine resources, their current lifestyle and rate of consumption of those marine resources is not sustainable for the long-term future. It's barely sustainable for the short-term future.
Nasaan nangatay kami may tumatahi. Nayaman keturunan kami asal. Iya mga niya buat jaga mga kita asungi pahanut, buong matahik pahanut. Jadi lumayan di na naman.
Bo masih pandai mengalai. Macam mana?
Their belief in the ancient ways perpetuates a secluded existence.
They don't know there's going to be a regatta. They have no idea.
For the settled Bajau, the regatta is all they can think about. Haji Mamun, the defending champion, is putting in the final touches. This year, he's made some improvements.
Itu lampu akan saya tambah. Dia punya bentuk ini warna sambulayang, segala tipas-tipas bendera Sambili. Memang saya ubah. Perasaan saya sekarang amat gembira mendapat tempat masih yang saya ingini. Raja Lepa seperti itu tahun yang lepas.
It's been a fine family effort. With his boat fully decorated, Haji Mamun makes his way to the regatta. In the Malaysian coastal town of Sempurna, traditional Bajau boats have been built and decorated for the annual water festival. But all is not well. A storm is brewing and could strike at any moment. Haji Mamun has decided to skip the opening ceremony and stand by his lepa boat.
Saya jaga, saya turun ini pergi bawah untuk mempertahankan lepa saya supaya tidak hilang daripada ini kecantikan.
The lights are the first part of the decorations to be judged.
Bagi pandangan saya, pendapat saya, memang tidak ada bandingan. Lepa saya lah yang dia punya lampu memuaskan.
Even though the heavens open as the ceremony kicks off, the show goes on. Folk dancers and singers immerse the guests in traditional Bajau culture. Hopefully the weather will clear by morning, for tomorrow brings the Lepa boat parade and the crowning of the Lepa King and Queen. On the islands off Semporna, the Sea Bajau community have different concerns about what tomorrow will bring. Many have decided to settle on land, but poverty remains widespread. And helping them find solutions is Sabah Park's Helen Brunt.
On first appearances, it actually just looks like there's a lot of rubbish floating on the water. All these plastic bottles here are actually holding up lines and lines and lines of seaweed. A lot of people in the Semporna area have taken on seaweed farming as their livelihood because seaweed can reach a very good price. Most people know that seaweed is popular in Japanese food, but it can be processed into so many different things. It's actually used in cosmetics, body lotions, sunscreen. It's a major component of ice cream, which people don't often know about.
Seaweed farming could be an ideal solution to the Sea Bajau's economic problem, for it draws on their innate knowledge of the sea. On the mainland, the party has started. Everyone's looking forward to finding out who'll be crowned Lepa King and Queen of the 16th Lepa Regatta. This year, some of the rules have changed. Nasatia has had to begin her morning a little differently.
Jadi tahun ini mereka ingin paras rupa yang cantik, jadi saya cuba makeover sedikit lah. Markah yang lebih paras rupa, kemudian baru tengok tarian lah, dan lepas tu baru tengok baju asli kah tidak. Baju bergantung pada kreativiti individu. Saya punya niat pesan, tekankan pada yang tradisi.
Haji Mamun is in high spirits as he docks his boat.
Saya ketua angamu kami pariata. Malapor diri ni kami untuk pengesahan pendaftaran. Lepa-lepa ini akan diadili keseluruhan, termasuk keaslian, ukiran, disiplin, hiasan, kreativiti, dan daya tarikan. Pada tahun ini, lepa ini memang begitu menggalakkan pada sama juga dengan tahun-tahun yang sudah. Tapi saya rasa banyak kaum-kaum yang lain yang datang daripada daerah-daerah lain untuk menyaksikan satu pertambahan yang begitu baik.
The regatta is a unique display of Bajau culture, a festival that keeps alive the songs and dances of their forefathers. It's exhausting business. Nasatia and her fellow competitors are expected to dance all day on the bows of their lepas. As for Haji Mamun, it becomes increasingly clear that the crown of Lepa King will be closely contested between him and his distant cousin Haji Biskai.
Di antara kelebihan Tuan Haji Biskai memang asli lepa, ukiran, dan dia ada juga ini kreatif, lampu, memang kita lah. Okay.
All the hard work and preparation has come to this, the announcement of the king of all the lepas. After 2 days of competition, the 16th Lepa Regatta reaches its climax. From over 100 competitors, Haji Mamun, the defending champion, is one of a handful of finalists.
Perasaan saya sekarang amat gembira mendapat tempat masih yang saya ingini. Raja Lepa seperti itu orang lepas.
Surrounded by beautifully carved boats, colorful sails, and the heady rhythm of Bajau gongs, Nasatia is in her element.
Memang macam terasa kehangatan, kebahangan. Nenek saya dengan sekarang saya lah yang menerusi generasi sekarang.
Finally, for the boat's decorators, the results are in.
Mengumumkan lepa yang akan menerima anugerah lepa paling cantik atau lepa cantik. Yang mendapat 85% dimenangi oleh Tuan Haji Mamun bin Indaman.
Perasaan saya walaupun saya tidak dapat pertama memang saya amat gembira. Pada tahun akan datang saya akan buat peningkatan lebih daripada yang ada sekarang. Penyertaan lepa cantik ini memang tergores dalam hati saya menjadi warisan kepada adik dan anak kemenakan saya, cucu saya.
It isn't only Haji Mamun who hasn't achieved his goal.
Saya tak dapat markah pada tahun ini, tapi itu tidak mustahak bagi saya sebab keluarga saya amat bangga. Suku kaum kami dimertabatkan di merata dunia. Dalam hati saya cuma ingin membanggakan martabat suku kaum Bajau di regata lepa tahun ini.
The Bajau may no longer live on their lepas, but it remains the most important symbol of their identity. For the few remaining lepa boat builders, things are looking up. They've been commissioned to construct a giant lepa, double the regular size. It will be the centerpiece of future regattas. The success of the lepa regatta is inspiring a new generation. It all bodes well for the future of the iconic Bajau lepa. As for the nomadic sea Bajau, Helen's work has brought about better opportunities for a settled life.
There have been real moments of satisfaction and sort of pride for what the project is trying to do, but it's a very, very slow process, and it took me a while to realize that things do not happen overnight.
The Sea Bajau community may continue to struggle with the tides of change, but the younger generation stands to gain from today's efforts.
As a culture and a society, the Bajau Laut they're fast dying out, but they're a very unique and special people in need of protection and conservation as a group, as well as protecting the species around them, everything in the sea as well.
The two Bajau communities that live in Semporna may have distinct differences, but they're bound by one faith, an unspoken reverence for the sea.